Welcome to School Talk. I'm Nadja Varney, your host. Have the arts been lost in our schools? Have the demands for high test scores in math, reading, and science, and tight budgets, have they shut out the arts? Well, interestingly, new findings in brain research and cognitive development suggest that there's great value in using the arts as a teaching tool, as well as for enrichment. Well, I'm delighted today to welcome to the set of School Talk the Vice President of Massachusetts Teachers Association, Mr. Timothy Sullivan. Actually, he's Dr. Sullivan. He's the Vice President at MTA, but he was a longtime teacher and an advocate for students. He was a leader in educational movements. And by the way, since we're speaking about the arts, he is a musician. Welcome, Timothy Sullivan.
Thank you. It's glad to be here.
You know, I know at MTA, everyone calls you Tim. Do you mind if I call you Tim?
Absolutely.
I was thinking I should say Dr. Sullivan, but...
That's fine. Tim is fine.
Well, reading your bio, I've just been so impressed because you haven't just, people think you're a union leader, so that's what you do, but you have done so much from teaching in the technology, reading, math, and I know there were so many students brought in after the Haitian earthquake, and you were the one who advocated that they got funds for that program, and I know you've received awards. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I know you're busy. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
And now I'm wondering, how did you get interested, with all this background, into the arts?
It actually goes back to my elementary school days. I absolutely loved to sing in class, but sometimes in school it wasn't necessarily the cool thing to do. So I kind of sat back a little bit and just took it all in. And then gradually when I hit 5th and 6th grade in particular, I really enjoyed singing. And all it took was one special teacher to take an interest in me. And her name was Mrs. Hill.
You still remember her name?
I do remember her name fondly. And what Mrs. Hill did, she took the time to call my mother and father. And she said to my mother and father, I just want you to know that I believe Timmy has a gift, and that gift is the ability to sing. And I would hope that at home, if at all possible, that you could nurture that ability and encourage him to sing and to do whatever possible to stay involved at school, because she knew, she knew it wasn't the cool thing to do, as I said. But because of that one phone call and her interest in me, I continued to sing. And in 6th grade, she selected me as a participant for the all-town chorus. And I can remember that as being kind of like the catalyst that said, you know what, I love doing this. And it propelled me through middle school, where I continued to sing in the chorus. And it got me to high school, where I really became extremely involved in music. I went to Braintree High School. I'm a product of the Braintree Public Schools. And at Braintree High School, there was a teacher, Mr. Clinton. And he took that same interest in me as Mrs. Hill did. He encouraged me to take private voice lessons. He also encouraged me to take his piano lessons. I did so. He also selected me as part of a select music group called the Madrigal Singers at Braintree High. And so I had really a great high school career, I guess you'd say, in terms of singing. So that's where it all started.
What impresses me is that it was a teacher that
absolutely
started you on your trip, your journey to the arts.
Yeah.
And now today, as we're speaking about the arts, I wonder if you would define them, because some people think when you say the arts, we're thinking about Lincoln Center, the opera, and maybe the Museum of Fine Arts.
Sure.
But what do we mean in school by the arts?
I think it means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but to me, it's really about creative expression. And that can come in many mediums. It might come in the form of song, which we just talked about, which it did for me, clearly. It might come in the form of dance. It might come in the form of painting, watercolors. It might come in the form of being involved in a theatrical production or a musical. I mean, it's a whole host of things that it could be, but it's really about finding that something within you that allows you to express who you are. And I really think that music is a great venue to be able to do that.
I identify with both your introduction to yourself, because it's very similar to my own life, teaching myself to tap dance and
Yeah.
doing it on the stage in middle schools, and then with only 2 lessons, and then teaching myself piano and so forth. And if it is in you, it finds a way to express itself.
It does.
But you know, if you look way back, everybody in school had to learn FACE and Every Good Boy, and there were music teachers, and then I remember as an early teacher when I first started, we'd have to follow up what the music teacher said with our class and so forth, with the art as well. What do you think caused the arts to fade into the background?
You know, it's a tough question, right? And it's a complicated one, but finances is part of it, you know, and testing is part of it. Music, or the arts in general, are not something that's part of a standardized test. And if it's not part of the test, you know, for some reason in some circles, it doesn't count. And so it kind of relegates it to a backseat.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, but what has taken the front seat is called STEM. And it's now everywhere, nationally, locally. It says that if we don't get advanced in the STEM subjects, the United States is going to not remain as a major power. It almost sounds to me like back in The Nation at Risk, and you know, back when they threatened the whole world was going to fall apart if we didn't do No Child Left Behind. And certainly the world didn't. We got the internet and many other things. But if you would define what STEM, S-T-E-M, stands for, and why do you think these subjects are dominating all of our teaching and learning policies?
Well, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. It really came about, let's say, probably 2009 or so, where there was a major focus on that, where they wanted to encourage high school students to take those courses so that they would follow up in those subjects in the post-secondary level, and you know, in college, et cetera. And it just was really an effort to get kids ready for the global economy, you know, the 21st century skills that everyone talks about. But what they forget about is what the arts can bring into that. You know, the arts are a great way to teach creative thinking, to teach problem solving, to teach teamwork, to teach collaboration. And those are all extremely important skills that are needed in all of the STEM fields.
It's interesting because my mind was going along the same path. And in fact, some of us have never abandoned using the arts right within the content. When I was a reading specialist and I had English language learners, after they had read the story and talked about it and had it down, we would do a reading act of it. They would act it out for the rest of the class, and usually they're sitting in the back. In fact, I'm not crowing here, but I just want you to know how much fun I had with the arts too. In first grade and second, we took them, you know, from one grade to the next. Our superintendent came in and I said, boys and girls, this is the superintendent of our schools. Let's welcome him. And they broke into, hello, hello, hello. I had taught them a welcoming song, the whole class. And during recess time, instead of saying, oh, go play a game, indoor recess, I had a little keyboard, and they did square dancing. And they learned how to square off in Alaman Left in first and second grade.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, movement, there are many other ways to use the arts, too. But, you know, years ago, there was always this feeling of America has a unique vision of education for everybody, for all. And I remember it was like you just needed to know a certain amount of history, your English and math, and then become a well-rounded person. Ted Sizer, when he was on our show, he's passed away now, but a famous performer, he said, what is school for? To learn to use your mind well. That was his famous statement. But now, I don't know, how would you characterize our vision and our goal for education? Has it changed? What's influencing it?
I don't think the vision has changed. You know, I think it's still to prepare our students, you know, to be well-rounded, to be the whole, you know, a whole child that is going to be able to, you know, blossom into an adult in a civilized society. And, you know, our problem is we've lost the way on how to get there. And
interesting.
you know, and I think part of losing that way is you know, what happened to the arts. And so when I think of the arts, right now we're under the Education Reform Act of 1993. Well, indeed, the act called for or recommended that the arts be part of the curriculum. The problem is it recommended, it didn't require. Then you get into Mass Core in 2009, I believe, and that's the recommended course of study, for high schoolers. And it called for the 4 years of English, the 4 years of math, and 3 years of science and of history, social studies, 2 years of a foreign language. And it did put in there the issue of 1 year of art. But again, a recommendation, not a requirement. And then the Board of Higher Education, in trying to keep with Mass Core and what the graduation requirements should be, actually use those as part of the entrance requirements for getting into the university system in Massachusetts, with the exception of they didn't use the arts. They used the rest of it. So it really is, we're in a situation where the arts have been downgraded. But I really think if we look deeper, you talked about in your classroom, that experience, that taught those kids to work together. It taught those kids to be a team. And that's what's missing.
Yes.
And if you're going to be ready, we can teach all the skills we want for the 21st century. But if they're not going to be able to work collaboratively and as a team, and be true solvent, have the ability to problem solve, where are we going to be? We really need that's a needed skill that's missing.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I can see it. And in talking to teachers, I don't find too many people really excited about education. They're doing a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
But this whole feeling of, yes, we have the core, the curriculum that everyone has to follow. But when a teacher that I used to teach with said to me that it had gotten so bureaucratic that she had to teach the same lesson, which was scripted. Talk about lack of creativity. This is a teacher that I know has years of experience with lots of tricks in her little bag of tricks.
That's right.
And yet she said, I have to follow a script.
That's right.
To meet certain standards for.
The problem there is because of testing, and I really believe that's the issue which we've already raised here today, the teachable moments are lost.
That's
because of that scripting. Same page, same time, same place. Everybody's got to be there. And the problem is not everyone learns in the same way. So that those kids who aren't ready to move on sometimes get lost in the shuffle. Sometimes it's those kids who are the most creative among us, and they just have to find the way to be able to develop and move forward.
Oh, you're absolutely right. In fact, one of the things I used to do is workshops for teachers on personality and learning styles and how to incorporate reading skills into those kinds of concepts and understanding. So I'm right with you that we've lost that kind of teachable moment that you spoke about, the serendipity and the creativity.
Absolutely.
And yet, in the world of business, they're saying what you just said earlier, that they need the other soft skills of what you said, problem solving, creativity, working as a team, collaboration. And yet, there are other people in the business world who seem to be not only encouraging those things, but almost discouraging them so that they can show test scores are not good, the public schools aren't doing their job, and then leading to privatization of things, which, again, talking about the great vision of the American schools, that makes me very nervous. But when we come back, let's talk more about what you just spoke about, the importance of how creativity, problem solving, and so maybe you can even give some examples of how that enhances learning.
Sure.
Even though we're dealing with all these tests. We'll be right back. Stay with us. This is about your kids.
This is my computer.
This is your computer. Let's go on the internet.
Let's go. Click it.
Yes.
Okay.
I cursor in between the R and the E. Pressing down, I want you to just push the period.
She's gonna love me all over again.
That's it. Jamaica, here you go.
Here we go.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And I did it by myself. Feel smarter.
You know, Tim, before the break, we were talking about how business is looking in on education. Sometimes I think the tail is wagging the dog, but that's just my own opinion. What's your view about what's going on with business and education?
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I'd like to raise is that MTA has been working with a group called Mass Creative. And Mass Creative is a group, nonprofit, but they're really advocating for the arts to be a requirement for entrance into our university system. And one of the things that they have done is they have worked with the business community and have actually brought the business community into some of their committee work so that they can really strengthen that tie between the arts and the business community, so that the business community will see the value that the arts has in preparing people for the workforce, those future employees that they're going to have. And they're really bringing to light the need to deal with the issues that we talked about earlier, the problem-solving skills, the working, the teamwork. And the business community really has gotten on board with Mass Creative. So to me, that's a good thing. And it's all about advocacy. If you can get out there and make your case, and you have people willing to listen, those partnerships can be formed. And you know, let's be clear about it. You know, in order to do the best for our kids, which is what we all want, we have to have partnerships between all walks of life, between the business community, between parent groups, et cetera. So I think it's a good thing that the business community is being involved in a positive way. You're right, there are some negatives, but I prefer to look at the positive because they really are working well with Mass Creative. And you also talked about the classroom and how we can take any classroom and transform it into using the arts more. MTA is also currently working with a group out of California called Guitars in the Classroom. I don't know if you've heard them or not,
No.
But they're now in many states. And we just recently had them give a workshop out at a summer conference in Williamstown. And what they do is they come in and they train teachers just the very basis of a guitar. You don't have to have any experience, no knowledge, nothing about the guitar. And they help them to take the guitar, to take simple chords, and to put some of their classwork, the skills that they're teaching, whatever they're working on,
great.
to basic chords, so the kids hear it in a different way. And then the kids begin to sing, and you know, they begin to memorize, they begin to take it all in, they begin to look at the classroom experience in a different way, all because the art's been brought into them.
You know, I am so proud of the MTA, Massachusetts Teachers Association, because you have collaborated with so many groups in the country and in this state. My son is a guitarist, by the way,
Oh, great.
and teaches guitar. So,
Yeah.
But so I've heard a lot. Both boys played both when they were young, so they had a basement band and
Oh, yeah.
the whole setup. I went out a lot.
That's
Those
all
were
right.
the days of distortion and all that. But you know, it does follow them through life. It's a wonderful thing. In fact, I just have to share this one funny thing that my fellow teachers thought I was a little crazy, but when rap first came in, and I'm not a great fan of rap, but I had first graders trying to learn to use phonics, sounding out, and also projecting the meaning for the word, the context.
Right.
So we learned to rap, to read a new word, stay awake. Think to yourself, what sound does it make? And to read a new word, don't be tense. Think to yourself, what makes sense? Now, they had no problem clicking and
moving
moving
to it, 'cause
around.
it's all part of the
and
creative process.
It's amazing. I just remembered that
I was
out
just
of the
going to
blue.
say that, and the children would too.
Well,
That's
we
the
hope
point.
that the
Yeah.
application of it
Yes.
follows through.
Yeah.
But you can have so much fun when people take the shackles of, a paragraph with these 5 things is exactly how it has to be written. And there's so many ways to be creative in teaching. So I'm glad to hear that you're advocating that through MTA.
I even do that, I will tell you, as a musician.
Yes.
I give quite a few speeches, I guess you'd say, around the state in a variety of capacities, a variety of venues. But quite often, I'll be in the middle of a speech and I'll say, it's going well, but not well enough, and I'll break into song.
Yeah, great.
And they all perk up, the audience perks up, and they see you in a different light,
Right.
and you get a whole different
You're
response
right.
when you bring the arts in. You know?
I think we should do a workshop together. I start my workshops with, listen with your heart. And I'm quoting from a famous statement that talks about not only cognitive, but the affective domain.
right.
our audience probably thinks we're crazy here, but we're talking about the arts, but I'm sure you can all see that we actually embody the use of arts in education. We're not just talking like you're hearing it from a book. But it's so exciting to talk to someone else that's as creative or crazy as I am, if you'll excuse me.
A little both.
No, but you're so easy to talk to, and it sounds like you've had a lot of fun with the arts. Maybe, many people, as we are, worried about the big achievement gap between affluent or even middle-class white students and minority poor children. And it seems to me the arts might be a way to help with that and incorporating them into the content subjects. Do you know of other programs or some programs that are doing that other than what we ourselves have done?
Yeah, well, I mentioned the guitars in the classroom earlier.
Oh, yes, that sounds good,
I
too.
do know that the Worcester Public Schools are using some of the guitars in the classroom. The Boston Public Schools are as well. But you talk about the achievement gap, and it really get into the discussion of the haves and have-nots. There are communities that no matter what are always going to have the arts because they have the ability to fund it. They're always going to have those school business partnerships that will assist in that. They're always going to have those parents that'll go out and that will raise the funds to have that musical, to be able to dress the band and so on and so forth. And there are those communities that struggle and need the outside partners, but yet are successful. And I'll tell you, I taught in Brockton, and I think that you mentioned that earlier, but that's where I spent my career. But Brockton has a history of being very, very proud not only of its school system, but of the arts. And they have won numerous awards with the band and with the chorus. And I believe that those kids who participate in those activities do extremely well. In fact, and I'll make this real short, real quick story.
Okay. Oh, no, I like to hear it. I'm sure our audience would.
When I went to the MTA as vice president, one of the struggles that I have, and I still do to this day, is that I miss being with the kids because it's a full-time release job.
Yes,
so I made it a habit. I always went for years, even though I was a middle school teacher, I always went with the Brockton High School Chorus on the annual trip. It's usually a competition. I would chaperone for Penny Knight, who was the choral director at Brockton High. And the kids are phenomenal, and they always won all kinds of awards. But this year, Penny was retiring. And back in, I think it was March or April, I can't remember which month, but Penny called me up and she says, "Tim, I'm retiring this year, one last trip." I said, "Great, Penny, where shall we go?" I wanted to think, is it a competition or what is it? She says, "Tim, this is an easy one. We're going to New York overnight. We're going to take the high school chorus to Broadway. We're going to take them to see Newsies." Now, this is a phenomenal experience that these kids have. But let me tell you why we went. This brings tears to my eyes. It actually brought tears to my eyes when I was there. Two Brockton High School students, twins actually, the Guzmans, the last name. They have been such a fan of the arts and so good in the arts and phenomenal in dancing that they decided they wanted to make it to Broadway. And a year ago, they went down to New York, they auditioned, they both made it into Newsies, and they finished their high school career on a Broadway stage.
You're kidding! They were in the Newsies on Broadway?
Yeah, and after the play, they talked to the kids. You know what they talked to the kids about? The importance of studying, but the importance of remaining in the arts and singing and dancing and doing all you can, because you never know where it's going to lead. And although Brockton struggles at times with the finances, they do what they needed to do to make sure that kids have those opportunities. And we need to increase funding. You know what we need to look at? We need to look at the foundation formula. The foundation formula hasn't been looked at since 1993 when the Ed Reform Law went into effect. And we have to ask ourselves, are we adequately funding our public schools? And I think my sense is the answer is the formula needs to be adjusted to current times. And this would be a perfect opportunity to address our concerns, because what better way to bring back the arts and to do what we need to do than to fund our schools properly?
Well, see, we began by your mentioning financing.
Right.
And resources early on, and we're coming to the end of our show now in just about another minute. So here we are back at the real bottom line for everything in education is funding. And I do with you hope that America will continue to fund its public schools. And we just have a few seconds left here, but I'd like to know, at this point with the arts, what is your greatest frustration and/or your greatest accomplishment that gives you optimism?
Well, my frustration is what we've talked about, the continued cuts in the arts.
Cuts in the money.
So, you know, but my hope really lies in the communities doing the right thing. And in particular, I have a 12-year-old son in the Weymouth Public Schools. Last year, and he's involved in lots of things, but last year he came to me and he said, now I know, Dad, I have hockey practice and this and that, but I'd like to get involved in the after-school drama program. He says, I can fit it into my schedule. So I see that as one of my best accomplishments. The fact that my 12-year-old, who's a middle school student, and you know it's not always the cool thing to do in middle school, came home and said, you know, I love the sports, but I also want to be involved in the arts. And the fact that he had the opportunity, I think, is wonderful, and I think every kid should have those opportunities.
Yes. Again, this is just so amazing because at Willett School, while I was there, I just offered to start my minor was in theater for children, to start a drama club. And I thought maybe 12 kids would show up, 4th and 5th graders. 40 children showed up after school,
Great,
40.
great.
So we had to get some other people to help. But I'm so glad to hear that it's still happening. This is current with your son.
Oh, yeah,
this isn't back when I was
He's just entering
teaching.
the 7th grade. He will be next week going into the 7th grade.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as you say, the frustration is, come on, world, support it.
Support us, that's right.
And I'm interested in what you said, too, about the foundation. So maybe we, sometime in the future, will talk about how schools are funded and how they might be better funded. But at
Absolutely.
this point, we're coming to an end. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
You're welcome. I'm so happy you were here. And in closing, I'm going to quote from Arizona's Superintendent of Public Instruction. He says, if they're worried about their test scores and they want a way to get them higher, they need to give kids more art, not less. There's lots of evidence that kids immersed in the arts do better on their academic tests. The arts are an important part of our discussion, and they will continue to be one here in our discussion, which you know I call School Talk.